Let me bring in Democratic Congressman from Illinois, Krishnamoorthi. He currently sits on the House Intelligence and Oversight Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Hey, good morning, Ali.
Let's talk about this. I don't know whether it matters or not that Donald Trump has told Republicans, and I don't know why he would have told Republicans, don't continue on with negotiations, don't allow this bipartisan infrastructure bill to get by. Is that of any consequence as far as you understand?
It has some consequence, I would imagine. I think that there are going to be Republicans who are going to have to decide whether they do what their constituents want, which is a bipartisan infrastructure deal, or they do what Donald Trump wants. And that tension is going to remain. I hope, obviously, that they choose the former, that they side with their constituents in this instance.
And that's an interesting point, right, that you bring up. Polling consistently shows that this infrastructure effort is something that resonates with Americans. Part of that because we see things crumbling, including bridges and roads, and people understand what infrastructure is. And part of it is because this administration has tried to sell this as a version of economic stimulus, a jobs plan, as much as it is a physical building plan.
Absolutely. And you rightly pointed out in the lead up to this segment that people are starting to discover, crumbling buildings, such as what we see in Miami-Dade County, crumbling roads and bridges, and they want to fix it now. And this is the right time. There's a lot of momentum for it. And so I'm very hopeful, Ali.
Tell me about the, you have studied, obviously you've had a lot to do with everything that led up to the January 6th events. I want to understand your thoughts on this January 6th committee. Do you think Kevin McCarthy is going to participate and fill those 5 spots that he has the power to recommend members of Congress to, or is he going to stick obstructionists in there?
Well, I heard within the last 24 hours or so that he's actually going to appoint members to this committee. If they are people like Liz Cheney and others who actually want to get at the truth of January 6th, I think that's a good thing. On the other hand, if he's going to choose people who are merely going to channel Donald Trump in the halls of Congress, that's not so productive. And as you know, Speaker Pelosi is going to have a voice on that. I expect her to fully exercise her voice to make sure that we get a functional committee.
I was talking to your colleague Stacey Plaskett a little earlier. I'm getting a little bit concerned about the rhythm around this conversation that conspiracy theorists are having in this country about Donald Trump coming back into office in August. There is absolutely zero mechanism by which that could take place. But there was zero mechanism by which Donald Trump was going to overturn the election of 2020, and yet his partisans continue to try to do that, and they continue to try these silly audits, and it continues to lead to legislation in state houses. What's your level of concern about the degree to which the Republican Party is beholden to conspiracy theorists?
I'm concerned, Ali. As you said, the My Pillow guy has kind of talked about this conspiracy theory of Donald Trump coming back in August. Of course, Mr. Lindell, the My Pillow guy, is not our truth guy. And you're even seeing dissension within the ranks of the kooks. Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't even believe in this conspiracy theory. All that being said, I think DHS has to take all of these concerns seriously. They have to look for credible threats. I'd like to see more resources devoted to the Capitol Police. We passed a bill to that effect in the House. It's still sitting in the Senate. And I hope that that actually becomes a part of the bipartisan infrastructure deal or reconciliation package. We have to continue to figure out how to bolster Capitol defenses and help the U.S. Capitol Police.
Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us this morning. Illinois Congressman Krishnamoorthi. He's a member of the Committee on Oversight and Reform and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence.